Hello, San Francisco, and welcome once again to the Angelic Troublemakers. I'm your host, Alan Jones, and on today's program, wake up, Oakland sports fans. Now, it didn't take long. Last week, I brought to you a program where I was beginning to question my allegiance to all of sports. And I couldn't believe it because I'm such a huge sports fan. My number one sport is football, and I definitely love basketball and baseball. But the events of this past week, I can't watch not one NFL game. It's a choice. Either watch football or be a hypocrite. And choice is, excuse me, I can't be a hypocrite. And I can't be watching the game. So, what's the other alternative? Hey, my integrity will not allow me to be a hypocrite, and my integrity will not allow me to watch any NFL games based on the 31 to 1 vote that the NFL owners cast in approving of the Oakland Raiders' move to Las Vegas. I am not necessarily an Oakland Raider fan. I like the team. It's all right. But what I've noticed in the city of Oakland and have learned by reading, mainly the San Francisco Chronicle, is between the Warriors and the Oakland Raiders leaving the city of Oakland, the Oakland taxpayers are on the hook for more than $400 million. Now, I believe that any sports franchise should have the right to move to wherever they can get the most profit for their investment. However, how you leave is my issue. Now, I think that it's more than 70%. It might be slightly less. But the NFL has at least 60%, maybe 70% black players. So when they decide to cast a vote to leave a black community, and I say black community with the full understanding that the population in Oakland, California is 34% white and 28% black. But Oakland, with its past, has been known as a black city for quite some time, and it'll remain that until the population gets down to 10% black, in my view. However, when you look at the dedication of the sports fans and their love for their team, willing to be on the hook with some really bad choices for the political leaders at the time who made these deals, when you really look at it, leaving the team with such a humongous debt is really saying that you care more about yourself than you do about the community that has supported you for so long. Now, I'm heartened by the fact that the one lone vote against the Oakland Raiders' move to Vegas was by the owner of the Miami Dolphins, Stephen Ross, cast the lone vote opposing the move, and his reason, as published, was NFL should do all it can to stay in the communities that have supported it so long. Plain and simple. And the fact that the nerve of the NFL to try and is blackmail the word? Well, to suggest that Oakland used taxpayer dollars to fund another stadium project when the stadium that they're in now is not paid off for due to its last renovation of $200 million that has ballooned with interest because of the failed deal that caused it to balloon. For the NFL to be, no, this is not, we can't make it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I am bent out of shape because of the Warriors owner, who I give a ton of credit for turning that franchise around in such a short period of time. But he too, when proposed the fact that leaving Oakland for San Francisco was going to leave a debt of $60 million for the Oracle Arena, he said, hey, that's not my problem, basically. And he basically willing to go to sue just to get out of paying that debt. Now, how stingy and miserly can you be? You bought the team for $450 million. The team is worth $1.9 billion 5 years later. 6 years. And you want to stiff the city of Oakland for $60 million. Wake up, Oakland, California. Wake up, Oakland sports fans. Why are so many of you still interested in following the Oakland Raiders and the Golden State Warriors when they move? Now, I understand the Warriors, they're just across the bay. But I myself, I know if the Warriors end up playing one game in San Francisco, I will not be watching. Why? My integrity will not allow me. And I suggest that Oakland sports fans wake up, because as much as I love the Warriors, I can't do it. This is a issue of racism, and I'll shout it as loud as I can because I know I can prove it. That these owners only care about themselves, and they could care less about struggling communities. And why would we even want to put up with that? As far as the Oakland Raiders is concerned, I'm in tears at the fact that people are saying, well, we're still going to follow our team to Vegas because we're Raiders. Give me a break. For this particular situation to happen, where 31 owners voted to allow them to move to Vegas was a money decision. And I'm so much against it. If the vote had been 25-7, I might not have been able to see this so clearly as racist. But all NFL owners are white. And for 31 of them to turn their back on a black community when most of their players are black, you have a less than opinion of black people. That's the statement that I see. And the people of Oakland need to wake up and realize it. Well, how can you wake up and realize it? Well, unlike when there's a police shooting in Oakland and people decide to riot and stuff like that, I see a lot of Oakland residents crying about the issue. And I'm not recommending that they start rioting. And I surely don't recommend they cry. You need to make a statement. The angelic troublemakers. The term comes from a civil rights great of the 1960s, Bayard Rustin. And the term means to disrupt without violence. And I'm saying instead of going to court and suing, I'm saying that the people of Oakland should just stand up in one voice, and if not everyone, but black Oakland should stand up and make sure that they make a strong statement of we see what's going on here and we will not support it. You know, it's a shame. How many of you would go along if you knew that the NFL and its 31 white owners, and I'm not talking about the one great owner who voted no, the third of the 32 teams, the 31 white owners were seen in a room with 31 white sheets over their head, and you would still say, oh, I'm a football fan. You wouldn't do it. Well, look closely. Oh, excuse me. Wake up. Because I'm telling you that there's more to this than just a business deal. Because it's not how you treat people. I am a longtime San Franciscan. My main objection to, if I could switch over to the Warriors move, is I see Oakland, California as a little brother to me. If it had a bigger population, I probably would have said a big brother. But I see Oakland, California as a little brother to me. And no way am I going to treat my little brother in the manner in which San Francisco, all excited about bringing the Warriors here, denying the city of Oakland a team just so they can have bragging rights when they know the struggles of Oakland are also clear for everyone to see. This is not how you treat people. I wouldn't treat my little brother that way, and that includes Oakland, California, as a little brother. Now, sure, there's enough room for blame to go around. Do I blame the politicians? Yes. Do I blame the sports fans? Yes. Do I blame the sports owners? Yes. But my main focus is blaming black people. Why? Because black people have fallen asleep and they refuse to wake up for whatever reason to see what people are doing in very wealthy circles. The NFL would not be what it is today without black players. The National Basketball Association would not be where it is without the help of black players. I could include baseball, but hey, that's not, I can't for sure say that. Anyway, I honestly believe that if you see so clearly what these two sports franchises are doing, and you don't see racism, my goodness, you got your eyes closed and you're most likely asleep, because this is not right. And I also have been heartened by the fact that Golden State Warriors power forward Draymond Green, when he heard that the Raiders were leaving town, he said that that's not right. Now, this young man don't know nothing about the history of Oakland sports. He's not even an Oakland Raider fan. But he got it right when he said, I'm not going to another game because it just doesn't smell right. Now, true, he's on a team that's jumping city, but it's in the same market, so he's giving them a pass. Well, I'm not. But I do appreciate his voice on this subject. Now, the more diplomatic Steph Curry, silence, but I know he has a love for Oakland. And I'd love to hear what Klay Thompson says on the Raiders. Not the Warriors, the Raiders. But I haven't heard anything from him. But I know his heart is in Oakland and not San Francisco. And so the issue is for these players to see certain things. I definitely say that there has to be a point where a city stands up and just calls it like it is. Now, I have said I have no problem with playing the race card. My explanation is simple. I did not shuffle the cards, I did not cut the cards, and I certainly was not allowed to deal the cards. I'm merely playing the hand that was dealt. And quite frankly, as I look at my hand, I like it. And I think that if the people of Oakland would wake up and look at what's going on, they'll basically see the same hand that I see. And they might get excited and say, wait a minute, this is a good hand. We don't have to stand and take this from the NFL and the National Basketball Association. But let's just concentrate on the Raiders. If the people of Oakland, and I do mean the black people of Oakland, the communities of Oakland, would stand up and declare their finish with the NFL, they will start to get support just like Colin Kaepernick did. Now, I definitely must interject Colin Kaepernick, as I did last week. From what I understand, some teams were looking at uh, Johnny Manziel as looking at a reason to maybe can we work him in to our team, and they just basically were mulling it over. Now, if you don't know the history of Johnny Manziel, well, I'm not gonna get into that. Suffice it to say, drinking and domestic abuse. However, because Colin Kaepernick would not stand for the national anthem and his protests, he won't even get a sniff of an NFL interest. Now, that's not right. It's more revealing of racism because I don't think that they would treat a white man who was so political, if you will, the same way. Now, when you also look at 35 players in the NFL, most of them black, 35 players in the NFL were suspended for various violations of rules last season. And all of them are eligible to join teams this season coming up. Well, when you look at the fact that substance abuse, drugs for performance enhancing violations, domestic violence, the one about the New York Giants kicker, Josh Brown, I believe, or something. I don't know what his name is. That was really bad. They tried to keep that quiet. But even he is eligible to come back. Now, no team's going to pick him up. I get that. But the fact of the matter is they're all eligible to be picked up by another team. Now, 35 of them could very well be picked up based on their talents. If they were real talented, I can guarantee you people would not hesitate. But Colin Kaepernick is also talented. And he is not the worst of the quarterbacks. Last year, he was probably above average. And for the NFL to turn their back on him simply because he had a conscience to what was going on off the field and in the communities concerning mostly unarmed black men at the hands of law enforcement. For him to not be able to have a job, it's like, I wouldn't sit in front of a television to watch this NFL when this is how they treat black people. Enough's enough is the issue. But the fact that 31 NFL players, NFL owners, voted the way they did in the Raider deal, my goodness, how much proof do you need that the NFL is a scam? They care more about their investment than anything else. People don't realize this, but in 2011, the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, sent out a letter. If you want to look it up, I would suggest June 15th NFL letter. Google that. See what happens. The first paragraph of the letter, Roger Goodell says that the NFL is more than about what happens on the court, not on the field. It's also about what happens in the community. And the NFL had vowed, we support the communities that support the NFL. Well, if that's true, why would you support the NFL moving one team from a community that has supported it off and on for the last 60 years to Las Vegas, of all places? Even when you've had a long-standing history of no team in Las Vegas because of the gambling issue. No, absolutely not. So, because my integrity will not allow me to be a hypocrite or a NFL fan, I'll just have to enjoy this baseball season until they too get on my last nerve. And believe me, the history of Major League Baseball and how it treated black players, I'm telling you, not good. But hey, there's some times where you just have to realize that you got to put your foot down. And I'm strongly recommending the people of Oakland wake up, put their foot down on the hypocrisy, the racism, and the shenanigans of all of these NFL owners, and find themselves in a position of power, not weakness. There is a situation here, and as I've said at my first program of the year, January 2018 should be the beginning of Black Power Month. And of course, I'm coming from a standpoint of education and love as that power. And if people want to tout white power, well, you just go right ahead. But what does white power mean? And match it up against the education and love that I suggest that we support or put forth as the meaning of black power. But far as waiting till January, I wouldn't do it that way. I would suggest that the people of Oakland who know how to start a black power movement based on history, they know that if you just stand up and make a bold statement and get, together and say, hey, you can't, no, we're not supporting this. And let the whole country know that the NFL is racist. This move is racist. And prove it. And I'm sure that something will happen because it's unexplainable. You can't say that it's just because of economics. Well, they couldn't afford it. Oh, you tried to strong arm a city, NFL, into investing hundreds of millions of dollars for a struggling city when you have billions in the bank. No. Until next time, God bless. Stay strong.